The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of ESPN Tucson 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, or the Arizona Lotus Corporation.
Welcome to Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson.
Justin Spears, I like that.
With Justin Spears and Ali Farhang on 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, ESPN Tucson. Brought to you by Tucson Federal Credit Union, the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, and Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I want to be entertaining, but I'm not stupid enough to compare myself to Ali.
And look who's joining us in studio. Welcome to hour number 2 of Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson, presented by the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. This guy's done some commercials for them.
And done loans with Volpe.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Tie it all together. I love it.
And then Tucson Federal Credit Union. Huge shout out to all of our sponsors here on ESPN Tucson.
You definitely know Matthew Gaspari, man. Yeah, Volpe, I couldn't hardly keep him away. He's like, how do I be on
Is
the
Volpe here?
No, he's might have a surprise appearance by Volpe in one form or another.
Wow.
Yeah. How are you feeling, man?
Hold on.
Yeah.
We got Arizona men's basketball coach Tommy Lloyd in
Yes.
studio.
Oh, yeah.
What if someone's just tuning in at the top of the 8 o'clock
a normal
hour?
day at the office, and no. First off, I appreciate the lead in music, and that's what happens when our friend Mark Wystrach, from Midland, is late.
Yeah.
Like he does not. We're not leading in with Midland. We're leading in with the Beastie Boys.
Absolutely.
I do appreciate that. How am I feeling? I'm good. I've been good. I mean, it's just been it's crazy. It feels like the season. I mean, I have these fluctuation of emotions. Like I feel like sometimes it ended like 6 hours ago, and I feel like sometimes it ended 6 months ago. And then a couple of days ago, I'm like, you feel like you haven't got a kind of a breath, just to relax and be normal, which I like to be normal as much as possible. So but overall, I'm feeling good. I'm got a lot of things going on in my life and my family's life right now, which is really exciting. But yeah, all in all, I'm good.
You normal?
Totally normal. Mid, average, any other word you could think like that. You got me. Like I like chilling at my house, not wearing any shoes, board shorts, and that's kind of my spot.
My kind of guy.
Listen, man, first time I met him, he's like, what do you want to drink? And I'm like, I don't know. What do you got? He's like, PBR. I'm like, what else you got? He's like, PBR. I'm like, this guy's solid, man.
Man of class.
This guy's solid.
Then I think Ollie did open a glass of or a bottle of fine wine with my wife, and he was over there sipping on like Chardonnay or something like that.
Yeah. Actually,
that's what Ollie does.
I think it's every once in a while I say something that makes Tommy laugh. And he's like, hey, what do you want, red or white? And I'm like, let's just Billy Joel this. Both. Bottle of red, bottle of white.
I've seen how those nights end.
Yeah.
So we're talking to Arizona men's basketball head coach Tommy Lloyd, and eventually we'll get Midland lead singer Mark Wystrach joining us in studio. But
just pulled up. By the way, of course, the coach is on time. You know what on time means? He was here 10 minutes early.
Yeah.
The lead singer of the band, 10 minutes late. That's on time for him, right?
High maintenance, he probably had to stop, and I think he likes like Sprite, but like he likes like Sprite mixed with half 7-Up. It's the craziest combination. It's crazy, like high maintenance. Like these rock stars and celebrities. I don't know if I get them.
That's the dressing room at the Tucson Convention Center for Midland's concert this Friday. It's like yeah, here he is, Mark.
Where do you want me?
You're gonna sit with Justin, and Justin's coming over.
You're late.
I gotta ask you, man. Well, first of all, hello. How are you?
Ollie, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
What's up with this Sprite 7-Up mix, man?
Yeah. High maintenance. Yeah. Like I was just telling him, like you rock stars.
The
like,
Sprite 7.
50-50 mix, and if not, people are getting fired.
Are you just trying to support two different companies because you feel bad if you just support one?
Oh, if you see this 8-pack, I don't drink high fructose corn syrup, right?
Oh, that's right.
I stick to the healthy stuff: Coors Light and Solito Tequila.
Oh,
Morning, Tommy. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
You look good.
I'm trying. I'm just, kept me up late last night. I thought you were going to come hang out. And then
God. But I didn't because, look, I'm already 6 or 8 minutes late. By the time I got in, I knew that we'd be in trouble. So I slept in a little bit, got up, walked around the Arizona Inn and the grounds, had some coffee. And I realized that, like, the desert is one of the few places that I'm naturally tuned for being up early in the morning. Because you got to get the nice, cool breeze in the morning. It's a good time to be be awake. Where I live now, I live up in Colorado. It's cold in the morning, so I don't like getting up.
Can you believe he traded us?
You traded, man.
Traded us,
man,
to another Big 12 school.
When he wasn't so big time, he was like, "Ali, where do I live? What country club do I join?" I'm like, "Anything you need, man, I'll help you out."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm out."
Yeah, you know
what? It was really great. My wife and I moved back here during 2020, and it was amazing. It was actually, we coincided. That's how Tommy and I met.
Mm-hmm.
My brother-in-law, Kevin Flanagan, who used to play at Arizona in the Lute Olson era, was coming out to a bunch of the I guess the alumni.
It was Lute's kind of funeral slash,
what it was.
You know, kind
That's
of stuff. So all the former players were coming back, which was none of pressure on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never been a head coach, and now you have everybody here for Lute's memorial. You know, and that's where I met Mark. You know, we had a kind of a workout where, you know, the players practice, and, you know, it's no problem. You haven't coached a game yet, and Steve Kerr sitting in the front row watching your team practice. And you know, this guy comes down, and, you know, he kind of, you know, this good looking guy, and he's, you know, shooting baskets, acting like he knows what he's doing. And I'm like, I figured he was a former player, a former walk-on or something. And
right.
I'm like, hey, you know, oh, I'm Mark. I'm like, well, what do you do? And he's like, oh, I'm a lead singer in a country band. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you are. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Yeah, so am I. Yeah.
And now I'm Tommy's second favorite band behind.
Yeah, the Beastie Boys.
The Beastie Boys.
You know that.
There's
You're
no
bad.
pushing that out.
You know, actually, I got a question for both of you. And, you know, the band and the dynamics of a band and chemistry and kind of team building and a top tier college basketball program. You guys ever have conversations about kind of things you do as far as your team and how to motivate them, how to get the best out of them? You guys have those conversations?
I mean, for sure we have. You know, I mean, how do you handle one talented people? You know, I mean, he's a little different. I'm more like, you know, Jimmy Iovine with my group. You know, I mean, I'm kind of the producer behind the scenes. Yeah. And he's actually, you know, he's part of the talent. So I think they're different roles, but, you know, they're at their level, their talent in a certain way. I know they have producers, engineers, and all this stuff, but they coach themselves, you know, which is interesting.
Well, we're also running a business, and I'm in charge of, you know, 18, 19 people that we're working with. So in a lot of ways, you know, there is some of that coaching and how you do motivate a band, and when you're on the grind, you know, all year long. Tommy and I do send a lot of texts back and forth, and, you know, I'll give him an attaboy after a big win, or, you know, I'll hear something inspirational and I'll pass along a quote, or send Tommy some new demos and stuff like that to get his feedback. And then, you know, I've got my input on a game. I think it goes in one eye and right out the other. Tommy probably skips right through that.
No. I mean, hey, listen, he does watch every game, and he is passionate about it, and you know, I appreciate that. I mean, that's one of the things that makes this job so special, is just the community is behind it and people care. I mean, and he is gallivanting around the world, you know, so to speak, but, you know, Arizona basketball is always close to his heart.
When he gives you advice on basketball, do you come back to him and say, hey, you know, that last set you played the last time I watched you?
100%.
You know, maybe don't start with drinking problem. Make the people wait for it.
We're going to be together all day, so there will be some talk on the set list Friday. You know?
I want Tommy to come out, because, you know, we're playing, I'm sure you guys already mentioned, but we're playing at the Tucson Arena, the TCC. Is it still called the TCC?
Tucson Convention Center, also known as the Boneyard, when my Sugar Skulls are playing there. Yeah. I want you to know
how'd they play last year?
Last year, we just won our last game. Our quarterback two games ago threw 5 interceptions, so we had 2 new quarterbacks in town on Monday.
I could do better.
Yeah, we beat. But we put out a promotional thing for that. We're going to have you and Tommy on, and, you know, get your tickets now. Friday, 7:30 at Tucson Convention Center, Midland. Yes, I want to talk to you a little bit about your new song and some the album coming out. 579 tickets sold between now and this morning from the time we put that tweet out. Man, you're gonna
really fantastic
sell that.
Hey, listen,
out.
Tucson, Arizona, born and raised here down in Sonoyta, Arizona. Went to Elgin Middle School, and then got to come up to South Point Catholic High School, and my mom, all my aunts went to the University of Arizona, all my cousins, my big sisters. I was privileged to get to go to the University of Arizona, the Harvard of the West, as we call it.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? The Gonzaga of the South. And
I don't know if I'd give Gonzaga that much.
It's just such a special place to me, and getting to come home back to Tucson, where I still own a home here. And it's just it's where you're sometimes able to take perspective. As a kid, there's these shows that are very momentous, and they really kind of show you where you've come from. Growing up at the Stakeout in Sonoyta, Arizona, and watching guys like Kevin Pakoulis and Andy Hersey and all the guys that I grew up really admiring. To me, it's not lost on me how special this is to get to where we are, to where I am, and where Midland is. It's pretty amazing. To get to share that with my hometown community is unbelievable. So I want to sell this. Can you curse on this? No, you probably can't.
No, I can't. Dude,
I want to sell this.
You could do it again.
You know what I mean?
No.
You say mother sucker.
Yeah. But a little backstory. So
Let's sell this mother trucker out.
Yeah.
Right?
So when we met on the court there, and he used to tell me he's this country superstar.
Those words have never been uttered by me.
We were talking, because my youngest daughter Mimi, she had some horses, so we were kind of out looking at some different horse options, in the region. And we met this family who's kind of a roping family down from Sonoyta, so we went down there. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, we grew up in Sonoyta. I'm like, oh, I was there last weekend, and we ate at this really cool restaurant called the Stakeout. And he's like, my family owns the Stakeout, and so it was really kind of funny from day one. And the Stakeout, if you haven't been there, we got to put a plug in for that. That is an amazing place. Tom. If you want to go get a good piece of meat and then a baked potato wrapped in tinfoil, this is your spot. Like it's right up your alley.
The world famous Stakeout margarita as well.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Some Insolito tequila. Let's get all the plugs.
I like that. Now, I think we have to tell another story though. We were grilling at my house one day, and so we bought, I don't know, a bunch of, AJ's is really expensive, right? So we went there and got some good meat we thought from AJ's, and this guy, I used to work the grill at the Sonoyta, and I couldn't do this and that. Stakeout. So he's cooking. And then we end up, we're BSing off to the side, and next thing I know, I just look, our grill is literally in flames, like crazy flames. You go there, and the meat was so charred.
Yeah, but Tommy's got some grills set up from 2002. I was like, Coach, you got to invest in get a Traeger or something cooking wood, not on gas. So it's true. I don't know how to cook on gas. I hate cooking on gas.
But we took all the char off, and we told the gals.
Still good.
It was
still good.
We ate it.
Yeah, we cook over mesquite, and then I've gotten really used to a Traeger setup with the auger pellets. And with a Traeger, since there's no direct flame, it's damn near impossible. You can't burn a steak. You can overcook it, but you can't burn it. But that was pretty embarrassing. Showing up late to this interview. Tommy's got a couple on me.
Oh yeah.
Well, Tommy just pulled a Mo Farhang because our fathers are friends.
Yeah.
And so the promotion of the Stakeout,
me and
man,
your dad are friends. You know, when your dad texts me at least once a week, some sort of country history or some sort of funny joke.
Oh man, as soon as we were having lunch, you gave him your number. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah. For people that know it, Mo Farhang is a Tucson legend. And the connection to country music is that you guys owned the Maverick for years.
35 years, man.
35 years. So your dad's been responsible as a promoter for bringing in, there's great photos of your dad with Willie Nelson, with Merle Haggard, with Conway Twitty, you name it. It's pretty amazing his connection to music and how passionate he is about it. So yeah, your dad's always texting me about new Midland music going on. I always appreciate the heck out of it.
Oh, dude, as a lead singer, you'll appreciate this. You brought Jerry Lee Lewis and had to rent a really fancy piano and had to put a lot of money down for the deposit.
Yeah.
Jerry Lee Lewis starts kicking the piano. Never seen Jerry Lee Lewis before, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing? Stop kicking the piano, or I'm going to kick you off the stage." So,
that's funny. We were just talking about Jerry Lee Lewis on the way in here because we were listening to Willie's Roadhouse on Sirius, and we were listening to Mickey Gilley.
Oh,
and Mickey Gilley is just he's just a knockoff of Jerry Lee Lewis. I mean, he's like a poor man's country. I guess Jerry Lee Lewis is country as well, but yeah, Mickey Gilley, son, you should have just hired Mickey. Probably a fraction of the price.
Probably. Who are your the guys from the past that you really look up to and try to emulate maybe in some way?
Judd Bushler, Sean Elliott, Steve Kerr, Matt Othick. I got to give shouts out to my boy Matt Muehlbach. No, I think for country music, for me, there's quite a few. I would say the biggest ones are Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings. Got to say like Johnny Horton, Marty Robbins, fellow Arizonian, grew up in the Phoenix Valley. And then, did I say Willie already? Obviously Willie Nelson, but then Dwight Yoakam in the 90s, and then it's kind of, Brooks and Dunn, and Garth Brooks had a major impact.
He had a hell of a run, man. It's funny,
like
Justin.
I was more of like a Clint Black, George Strait, Mark Chestnut kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I appreciated Garth Brooks. You couldn't help but be impacted by his showmanship, and Garth had some mega songs, man. I mean,
Monster.
The Dance is one of the most beautiful songs of all time.
All the singers want to be athletes. All the athletes want to be lead singers. None of them want to be sports writers. When we come back, we're going to get into a little bit more of Midland, maybe talk a little U of A basketball. So let's wrap it up and stay tuned for more Tommy Lloyd and Mark Wystrach.
Spears and Ali.
You were late.
Back on ESPN Radio, 1490 AM, and the Spears and Ali podcast, Apple, Spotify. Subscribe, rate, and comment. Also, check us out on YouTube. We got two icons in the building, Arizona men's basketball head coach Tommy Lloyd and Mark Wystrach, lead singer of Midland, talking about Midland's concert Friday night at the Tucson Arena, 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets now. I'm curious, though, Mark, you're from Sonoyta. You're familiar with Tucson. What was your first concert in Tucson as the lead singer of Midland? What do you remember about that experience?
Oh man, well, like you touched upon, we had live music at the Stakeout, so I got to see live music ever since I was a little kid. But the concert that I first remember getting invited to a concert, this must have been when I was like 9 years old, was MC Hammer at the Tucson Arena, the TCC. So
respect.
Yeah.
I was at that concert.
Yeah, because I remember.
Did you have the pants all in?
No, I couldn't pull that off, buddy.
As a 9-year-old kid that grew up in Sonoyta, coming to Tucson was always like a really big deal. I'd get to come with my dad to go to the football games or go to the basketball games or go to my dad's the Tucson Athletic Club back in the day, the TAC.
Kevin Bacon of Tucson. Somebody knows somebody through the Tucson Athletic Club to this day.
Yeah. So, it was always a big event. And then, getting to go to an actual, highly produced concert was something I had never experienced. So I think there's still this aura attached to the TCC, and I go back to my 9-year-old self going to see, at the time, the biggest star in the world, MC Hammer. You're 9 years old. Your first introduction to music, Can't Touch Us was about as big as a song as it gets. And I remember it was because Vanilla Ice was supposed to open for him, and Vanilla Ice got pulled off that tour for some reason. So I was super bummed, but the show was amazing. I mean, Hammer could hurt him back in the day.
What about your first show that you played?
Yeah.
Like, so your first big show that you played that you remember,
My first big show was
here in Tucson.
Was my senior year. I got really into music where I was like, okay, I'm going to figure this thing out. My sophomore year, when I was going to the University of Arizona, my freshman year, I walked onto the football team. I was a hitting dummy, but it was an honor to get to play for Coach Tomey. He was a truly exceptional human being, and I had the utmost respect and admiration for him, and knew his family. My sister's friends with his daughter and stuff, so I got to see him both on and off the field, and what an amazing, exceptional human being. But sophomore year, I was like, all right, this it doesn't look like I'm going to go to the NBA or the NFL. I was like, I better really get down and get serious about this, because I was so passionate about music. And I was like, okay, I'm going to figure this thing out. So figured out the cowboy chords and started playing. And I want to say my senior year, me and my buddy Brett Jorgensen, who I went to South Point with, we were kind of starting a little band called the Young Whiskey. So I think our first performance, my first professional performance, was at Bentley's Tea House.
Oh, wow.
Right across, because I remember we did the show at Bentley's and then walked straight over to Dirtbags.
Yeah.
Partied like I had just played the Tucson Arena. I was like, I had the after show party thing down pretty snap. So.
Yeah,
that came natural.
Yeah, that came.
Do
natural,
the show at Bentley's.
Buck said.
Do your job at Dirtbags. Maybe some late night snacks right in between a 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
it's the center of the universe as far as I'm concerned. So going from that and then coming back with Midland and getting to play. I actually played. I played the Hotel Congress in my early 20s with my first band, the Young Whiskey, which was a thrill at the time. And then when Midland came in, we got to play the Rialto. And that was amazing. And I'm pretty sure I've been on stage at the Maverick and sang Drink a Problem once or twice there. And then to get to the arena, it's pretty cool because, I've got to see, through the years, a lot of acts there. And that's kind of where the big boys go. So that feels pretty good.
Just curious, your first band, Young Whiskey?
Yeah.
And then Midland. How did you come up with these names?
The Young Whiskey was my dad's nickname was Whiskey. His best friend, rest in peace, Svi Neve, who ironically took me to the MC Hammer concert with his daughter. Thank you, Svi. They were best buddies, and they would travel around and stuff. And he just called him Whiskey because my last name's Wystrach, and Svi was from Israel and had like a heavy accent. And he said Wystrach really funny, so he just started calling him Whiskey.
From Israel living in Sonoyta.
Yeah,
that might
and
be
a
story
winemaker.
We gotta
Svi was a great. Svi was an amazing guy, and Lori and they also raised miniature ponies at their little farmhouse in Sonoyta. It was actually quite an idyllic little place. They had a trampoline. I think like at least 6 or 7 kids broke their arms on their trampoline. No lawsuits though. So yeah, it's like it is really special. And every time I come down to the stakeout, I usually get up and perform there. And that's actually where I get the most nervous is playing at the stakeout. Because I got my dad yelling at me, eat the mic, son, get closer to the mic. Still to this day, So yeah, getting to the arena is really cool. And then, getting to have one of my favorite bands open for us, Flatland Cavalry, those guys are headliners.
They're pretty good.
So, yeah. I mean,
you told me about them last week.
They headline everywhere they go. So it's an honor to get Flatland Cavalry playing with us. They're amazing. It's going to be a great show. The set that we've got is awesome. We'll be playing our new song, I Wish You Would. Not with Mackenzie Carpenter.
Yeah.
But my keyboard player, Jeff Adamczyk, does a pretty incredible falsetto. So he sings Mackenzie's parts. It's pretty funny, the two of us singing. And then we're going to be teasing a brand new song that we're going to be putting out in just a few weeks. So you got to come to the show, get your tickets right now. You can get them, I know, at midlandofficial.com. I'm sure you can go to the Tucson Convention Center, right? Get your tickets there. But it's going to be a great show. If you guys have never seen us live before, I would say, we take the most pride in thinking of ourselves as one of the best live acts in the business. So come and see it for yourself.
Well, we're going to make another connection between music and sports. So you've got a new album coming out later this year, right? So it's kind of like this is your new team coming out. You're going to show them to the world.
I'm going to play.
And he's
got the board mixes. I just was in Nashville all last week recording something.
Oh, really?
I got my notes.
He's got notes.
I have been watching the Defiant ones.
Yeah,
or the Defiant one. Jimmy Iovine. You know what I mean? Kind of feel empowered here. Like I got some.
A famous producer for Bruce Springsteen and a lot of the biggest acts.
It's amazing that story. Like when you dig into it, I mean,
he
all
was
the
engineer on Fleetwood Mac and all that stuff. Yeah, came up. It's pretty incredible.
Oh, I was on a Zoom with him before the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, and I'm like,
with Jimmy Iovine.
I'm like, that's Jimmy Iovine. That's Jimmy Iovine. I'm having a conversation with Jimmy Iovine right now. I had to tell him he's a legend, and my brothers were going to be jealous, so he liked that. But you've got a new team. For a lot of new components, you got your babies coming out with new songs coming out. What are the emotions for you guys? Because it's not unveiled yet. What is going through your guys' heads before things come out and you see the product in action?
I'm curious to hear from Tommy because I think that Tommy's job and NCAA coaches in general, their job is maybe the hardest, most difficult it's ever been. So
because there's no transfer portal in music.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they can be. These bands are breaking up. It's going on. But
Mark Wystrach has been gone into the portal. He's going to Journey. Yeah.
Those are called record deals.
No, I mean, for me, like because one season ends, and as that season ends, you automatically start rebuilding your next team. I feel like we've got a good head start on it. But I'm still trying to digest last year a little bit. And so for me, we want to get the core group of guys together, and you might add a piece or two, or one or two things might happen late down the line, but you want to make sure that you're excited about the pieces you have. But then the build starts in the summer. So we really haven't started the build. We haven't went into the recording studio yet.
Right.
We've just.
And that's what, summer practice?
Yeah, summer practice.
When do you guys start that?
It'll be a little bit later this year because I have some USA basketball stuff. So we'll kind of mid-July we'll start hitting it hard.
Subtle brag right there.
That wasn't the subtle. That wasn't subtle. And I'm not bragging.
Not subtle.
but it's an awesome opportunity. But it's going to be a busy summer. So part of me too is like probably trying to take a little bit of breath, because I know that I have it's a heavy month when you do that USA basketball stuff. I know it doesn't get a lot of coverage here, but when you're playing with those 3 letters on your chest and you're representing your country, losing is not an option.
Right.
And when you're down 7-2 in Argentina to Argentina, you're like, oh shit. Oh, here we go. You're like, here we go.
Coach, where are the games all going to be? Are they all international?
Yeah, they're going to be in Lausanne, Switzerland.
Wow. Have you been to Switzerland?
I have.
It's amazing.
It
It's
is
one of my
beautiful.
favorite places
It's
on
beautiful.
earth.
Is that right?
In the summertime, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun. We're taking the whole family.
Yeah.
It's going to be really cool.
It's just like the
hills
are alive. It's like the Sound of Music out there. It's unbelievable.
You guys want me to sing it too?
That's
Well,
like-
actually, I'm wondering, what you guys up by yourselves and just in a good mood, maybe in the shower, whatever. What are you singing? What are you singing? You guys sing?
I thought he was like talking about you and me by ourselves together in the shower. Like, this just took a turn.
Tommy does have a great 2-man shower. So it's a great setup, man.
Breaking news on Spears and Ali.
Ollie, come on.
No.
Frame the question a little better.
For me, it's very often just working out song ideas. I'll come up with a melody or a hook, and it's something that very often in the shower I'm working out, and then I'm immediately hitting the voice memos. As soon as you get an idea, I think this goes for any creative or business venture that you're in. The moment that you get an idea, you should write it down and record it, because it will leave. It's like they're like dreams. There's so many other thoughts that will flood in. I've had so many great ideas that I didn't write down or record instantly, and I regret it, because there's all these songs that are still out there in the ether.
But it'll come back to you.
One of these days, maybe it will.
I agree totally. I write stuff down all the time. I'm a big note taker, and whatever. Now it's phones. I'll roll over in the middle of the night with my phone and just type in 3 or 4 things. You know what I mean? Just so when I wake up, I kind of remember that thought. But I'm spending a lot of time just thinking like that. And I think you gotta figure out how you work, how you work best. And obviously part of what we do with collaboration is a big part of it, but part of it too is you got to be independent and kind of come up with your own ideas and be able to form your own ideas. And then you go bounce them off your team. But for me, like, I'm a kind of a putterer. Like I like working at home, and I can work for 5 minutes and take like 3 or 4 minutes off, and then I'll come work for 2 minutes. And take, like I need, but what I found is I need that space in between the work to kind of, I guess, free my mind up so I can think. And, that's where my thoughts come in, is a space in between.
It is funny. I don't think that people maybe on first glance or first shot think of coaching as creative, but coaching is extremely creative.
Oh, totally.
It's all about drawing up your own lines, and drawing an offense or defense is a creative thing, because
Steve Kerr and I talk about it, a lot. Like, there's a science to it, and then there's the art to it. And he and I definitely are more from the artistic side. Yeah. It doesn't mean you don't know the science, but it's just how your mind works, and then there's other coaches that are just hardcore tacticians, and they're not artists. But I think when you're dealing with people,
fundamental basketball.
Yeah. Right. But with people, I think art has to be at the center of it, because to me, I think we're more artistic beings than we are hard scientists.
Well, so. it's also the art of putting together lineups, which to me is a creative and intuitive endeavor. And then, navigating all those personalities and, coaching outside of the X's and the O's, off the court. I think there's an art to that, and you are excelling at that. I mean, God, I think you're having, is it 4 seasons or 5 seasons now?
4.
Well, I think you're having in the history of NCAA basketball, one of the best first 4 years at a college. So
we're right there.
We're happy to have you, Tommy. I'm happy to have you as a friend and as a coach, and being such a major fan of Arizona athletics. You know, I really do. I don't miss a basketball game, a football game. I try to catch all the baseball games. I'm a big baseball fan as well. And it's great to see Arizona sports, you know, accelerating back to where it should be.
It's in a good place, top to bottom, if you think about it.
I think it is. You know, we've taken our licks, and but I think that the most important thing is, as you're building these days, especially with NIL and stuff, is having a culture.
100%.
It is having something that is immediately identifiable. And you know, they used to say this back in the Steve Kerr Arizona era, but you know, Tucson, Arizona is a basketball town. It is a football town too. But you know, I think we have a chance to establish something that's truly exceptional. And I see Arizona basketball continuing to work its way there, just because this is such a great, unique, small community that embraces Arizona athletics, and the kids here, they get to have that superstar experience, as opposed to going to, you know, you go play at USC or you go play somewhere else where they've got professional sports teams and tons of distractions. You come to Tucson, it's all about Arizona athletics. And if it's football season, it's that. If it's baseball season, everybody's going out to, they're still at High Corbett, right? They're out there.
High Corbett.
You know, and if it's basketball season, you better believe that McHale Center is the center of the universe out here. So that's if you've never experienced that, it's pretty special to see it.
Get out there. We're going to go to break right now. When we come back, it's not as spicy as Tommy Lloyd's 2-man shower, but we may be talking about Tommy Lloyd's album debut. So stay tuned for that.
Wow.
Tommy Lloyd, Mark Wystrach joining us in studio. Talk about Midland's big concert Friday night at Tucson Arena. And apparently, is it Tucson Tommy? T-Town Tommy. He's going to make it.
I've been a lot of nicknames thrown out here.
I call him T-Town Tommy. I gave him that nickname the early days. This guy's embracing the Tucson.
I'm a T-Loke.
Yeah, he is. Him and Chanel, his beautiful wife, they really have embraced it out here. They're great ambassadors for this city, and I think it's time Tommy comes out and maybe comes out and sings. Who wants to see Tommy sing "Drinking Problem"?
Oh yeah,
right. With a little insolito in hand, a little tequila in hand. I think it's going to be great.
Well, hey, you need to talk to my agent. There's an NIL aspect.
It's called quid pro quo, baby.
I've seen your contract, Coach. I can't afford it.
But when is T-Town Tommy making his debut Friday at the Midland concert? You got to go.
Well, the reason Tommy and I are doing a press tour is Tommy reached out. He goes, "Hey, listen, need some tickets to your show. You're coming to the arena, and
a lot of tickets.
And you know, it's my son's wedding weekend, and so I was like, well, how many do you need, Tommy? And he's like, I don't know, like 40. I was like, we're gonna do a press tour. I need to sell this thing out to afford the Lloyd section.
Well, that's why we're doing it. For Liam and Hallie are getting married this weekend, and we're obviously really excited about that as a family.
Amazing.
And it was just random. I mean, that, you know, they're playing here on Friday, they're getting married on Sunday, so they're kind of wrapping up their bachelorette parties at the Midland shows, because they're up in Phoenix here for a couple days. And but I've been told that this cannot turn into a Tommy Lloyd, Mark Wystrach deal. This is about Liam and Hallie. So I am going to be, you know, behind the scenes.
Tommy and I are going to be just chilling out back. It's going to be all about the newlyweds.
Yeah,
we'll have
you guys know where I'll be, right?
Yeah,
right next to you.
Well, it's
because I know that's where the best whiskey's going to be.
It's going to be an awesome
Insolito.
Yeah, we're more tequila drinkers.
Are we? All right.
Yes, sir.
Are we?
It's going to be an amazing. You know, I really do love the Lloyds, and it's really cool that our families have got to know each other. So the Wystrachs and Lloyds are. We've done it before backstage, and it's going to be all about that, family, friends, and just celebrating Tucson and celebrating the new music and you know, all the blessings that we have here, and
making a cameo singing the Red and Blues on your new album.
I think if Tommy comes out and sings a verse of Drinking Problem, at least a chorus, I think that could seal the Natty next year. I think that could be it. I think if he does it,
Hey,
calling it now. You've heard it.
I always tell my players one of the most important things is you got to know your limitations. and I think me singing a chorus of that would not be good for this show.
We'll turn your mic down. You'll be all right.
Auto-tune.
Guys, thank you so much for having us. I think we got to run to the next interview.
Yes. We got Tommy Lloyd, Mark Wystrach, Midland performing Friday night, 7:30 p.m. at Tucson Arena.
With Flatland Calvary, get your tickets now.
Yeah. And, you said a lot of nice things about Tommy, all of them true, and I echo. But, dude, you're making Tucson proud.
Yes.
You keep doing what you're doing, and, you got a lot of love in this community. So we're really proud of you, man.
It's my hometown and my homelands, and it's always just, it's always home for me. So it's always incredible getting to be back here.
Oh, yeah.
Two best front men in Tucson right here, right now. Tommy Lloyd, Mark Wystrach.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Man, it should be a fun time Friday night at that Midland concert at the Tucson Convention Center, 7:30 Friday night. We might see Tommy Lloyd making his music debut on stage.
Yeah. Well, I was told that the new album coming out for Midland, there's a little cameo by Tommy Lloyd.
Dun, dun, dun.
So anyway, I'm excited for the new album to come out. I'm excited for the concert on Friday. Like I said, there's just two great dudes, Tommy Lloyd and Mark Wystrach. They're just normal, great guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just happen to be one a lead singer of one of the most popular country western bands in the country, and the other one coaches one of the best basketball programs in the country. But if you didn't know either of those things, you'd be like, oh, just two normal dudes, And so really lucky to have them in studio today. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, man.
And you're selling Midland tickets, concert tickets at the Maverick too. So you can get them at the Maverick if you want.
Is Paul Volpe joining the show here? Let's take some phone calls here. 719-1490, 719-1490. I think Paul wanted to ask this question to Tommy or maybe Mark, but we got him online here. What's going on, Paul?
What's up, fellas? So I've been thinking about this for a while. So you got to imagine this. So Tommy, he's the lead singer of Midland on stage in Vegas, shirtless, wearing a rhinestone cowboy hat, trying to crowd surf while singing off key to Drinking Problem. Meanwhile, you got Mark on the sideline at McKell Center, coaching the Cats, dressed in a full warm-up suit, drawing up plays based entirely on his high school intramural dodgeball experience at South Point. Question is, who gets kicked out of their job faster, and do either of them survive the post-game press conference without accidentally starting a cult, and how would the meltdown go?
Wow.
Paul Volpe, that is a great question. And it's one that might be debated and argued over for generations. There may not be an answer, my friend.
Well, I'm going to keep thinking about it because that's something I really need to know.
Yeah. I got a question for you, Paul. It's a basketball question. I didn't get to ask Tommy, and maybe really wasn't the time to get really deep in Arizona basketball. But Tommy's been here for 4 years. Since he's been here, when he's brought a heralded freshman to the team, he's never tried to overwhelm them. He's kind of brought them along slowly. This year, we've got 3 5-star, very talented freshmen coming in, and I think at least 2 of them are going to need to start. How do you think the dynamic's going to be this year versus past years, where we may have to rely a little bit more heavily on 2 really, really good freshmen, whereas in the past, he'd bring them off the bench and kind of nurture them along slowly?
Yeah, and I know Tommy doesn't like to throw people into the fire right away. I think the big question is obviously what Carter does. Obviously, if he goes on to the NBA, I see Koa, Burries, Erstode stepping up pretty good. So I don't think he's going to be fearful to get them in right away. And I think those guys are pretty well seasoned already.
My guy, Paul Volpe, we appreciate you for joining us, man. I think, honestly, Tommy Lloyd would probably get kicked out faster.
No shot.
Yeah.
I think people would pay to see that.
People one time.
You've got to get on stage and sing a little duet with Mark. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen Friday. I know you're going to go to the concert. A lot of us are going to the concert Friday. So I think we're going to actually, what you've been thinking about a lot, I think we're going to get a snippet of it, at least with respect to Tommy Lloyd, on Friday at the Tucson Convention Center.
I'm down, man.
It's going to be fun. Can't wait.
Down. Paul, you're the man. Thank you for calling in, brother.
Love you.
All right, guys.
All right.
See you soon.
Right.
ESPN Tucson wants to help you pay for a tank of gas, groceries, emergency repair, or maybe a game with your buddies. Or, hey, if you want to go see Midland Friday night. And, I think Mark Wystrach is giving Tommy 40 tickets right? For Liam or for Tommy's son Liam and all of his crew
and Hallie.
Hallie. I'm not sure if you can pay for 40 tickets to go see Midland, but I mean $2,025 is definitely a great start. Go to or listen all throughout the day for this keyword. Text the keyword to 520-719-1490 during our episode of Spears and Ali. We'll get it tomorrow and also Friday. Friday is the last day for this contest, but we're giving you 2 chances to win $2,025 courtesy of O'Reilly Chevrolet. So 7 o'clock hour, 8 o'clock hour, and all throughout the day until 5 p.m. Listen for Andrew's sweet, silky voice giving away a keyword. And then once you hear that word, text it to 520-719-1490. We want to pay your bills courtesy of O'Reilly Chevrolet. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
I think the last keyword was my name, Ali.
It was.
It's not Oli, so it's A-L-I, not O-L-L-I-E. So you might just trying to help you out. If you did it, do it again. Use the right spelling. Yeah.
All right.
No roly-poly up in here.
Yeah, no roly-poly. Roly-poly never wanted.
Roly-poly-oly.
Roly-poly-oly, man.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yeah.
Great show. Ali, so we're not going to see you until Friday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's the NFL draft, baby.
Yeah.
We might not even see him Friday.
That is true.
No, it doesn't start till 4. I'm leaving the office early.
He's leaving the office at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
It's the NFL draft. What do you want me to do?
And if I got to work late, I got YouTube TV on my computer and my phone. So that'll be fine.
So I'm not going to see you until Friday. And tomorrow is going to be a very important day for Arizona football. It's so amazing to me that in recent years, we've always had this conversation of, are any Arizona Wildcats going to get drafted? Heck, screw the first round. Is there going to be anybody selected in the last day of the NFL draft?
I mean, to be fair, it's been worse than that. It's been more definitive.
Yeah.
We're not going to have any Arizona Wildcats selected in the
true.
draft at all.
Very good point.
A lot of certainty.
Yeah.
Very good point. But in the last couple of years, last year, you had Jordan Morgan go number 25 overall to the Green Bay Packers. It'd be cool to see Jordan Morgan, if he's in Green Bay for the draft, maybe sitting with his Arizona guys, T-Mac in the green room. But Jordan Morgan was the 25th overall pick last season. And then tomorrow, there's going to be another Arizona Wildcat taken in that first round. Tetairoa McMillan. It's not if, it's when T-Mac goes in that first round. And we talked about some ideal landing spots. I like Jacksonville in the matchup or the pairing with him and Liam Cohen, because Liam Cohen coached Mike Evans for so many years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think a guy like Liam Cohen could really maximize T-Mac's talents. I also like him maybe going to Dallas. I just want to see him go into a position to where he's got decent quarterback play. He's got a competent front office, and he's in a situation where he is not the number one wide receiver. Because I think it'd be nice for him to kind of learn the ropes and kind of get his feet wet a little bit and then turn into that guy, kind of similar to what we saw at Arizona. Because when he first started here, he had Jacob Cowing, he had Dorian Singer, he had a lot of other weapons around him. And then we started to see the buildup to T-Mac becoming T-Mac.
You're 100% correct, Justin. And I think anywhere from 5 to Jacksonville to 22 to the Chargers. That's the range for T-Mac. Personally, if he slides, I think the ideal landing spot for him is the Chargers, because I'm not there yet on Spencer, don't call me Trevor Lawrence, or Trevor, don't call me Spencer Lawrence. I'm not sure that's the competent quarterback play we're talking about. I don't know if Geno Smith, the Raiders quarterback, I mean, he's okay. And Tom Brady's involved now, so maybe there's a little bit more grown-up thinking in the Raider organization. Coach Carroll is a good coach. I think they're going to take Ashton Genty, but we'll see.
More grown-up thinking with the Raiders, not who's that? Simple Jack?
Yeah, Mark
Davis. Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
He looks like Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder.
Dude.
Yeah.
My eyes are raining.
Yeah. If Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, is smart, he's going to let Tom Brady have a lot of influence on football decisions and let Pete Carroll do what he does. So they've got a core now that they've won. So maybe, like I said, more grown up thinking in the Raider organization. But if he slid to 22 to the Chargers, I'd be really happy for him, because I think Justin Herbert is the right kind of quarterback. You pair him with Ladd McConkey, right, at receiver, and you got the kind of diminutive good route runner in McConkey, and you've got the it's not a 50-50 ball with T-Mac. It's an 80-20 ball.
Yeah.
So that'd be kind of a dynamic duo. Maybe even the Chargers trade up to go get him. But I think it's going to be wacky. We're going to see some trades being made in this first round.
Yeah.
And people are going to trade up. People are going to trade back. Who knows what's going to happen? There's going to be some fireworks, I think, tomorrow.
If T-Mac goes to the Chargers, it's going to be, and Lathan goes to the Steelers, it's going to be 2 of the first ever 30-minute shipping orders from the NFL shop.
Yeah. I will pay for 1-day delivery. Yes, I will.
100%.
Yeah. I will pay extra.
Absolutely.
$16.99 and I get it in 2 days. Done.
Is there like a meal you set up for the draft, Ali?
No,
It's not
You're
that ritualistic.
Not that intricate. No,
That's fair.
But if I like the draft pick, I might have a celebratory like little vodka soda. If I don't, might go for a walk.
I was to say,
there's no in between.
Well, I was gonna say, is it you have a celebratory vodka soda, and then if you don't like the pick, it's a double, right?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like, all right,
Justin. Yeah.
Let's add another shot to that mix.
If he really doesn't like it, he gets out the jar of mayonnaise.
No, that's never gonna happen.
Huge thank you to Arizona men's basketball head coach Tommy Lloyd, and also lead singer Mark Wystrach. Lead singer of Midland, Mark Wystrach, Sonoyta's finest, went to the University of Arizona. The man is handsome as ever.
They're just, like I said,
I gotta say, that guy's handsome.
You say, hey, what do you think about Mark Wystrach and Tommy Lloyd? I say the same thing. 2 really good dudes.
Absolutely.
And I want that question by Volpe cut for me, please, Andrew, and I will be sending it to both of them for an answer.
Totally.
Heck yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for today's episode of Spears and Ali. We'll be back tomorrow from 7 to 9 a.m. to talk all things NFL draft. Where is Tetsuroa McMillan landing? We'll discuss more about his landing spots and more NFL draft storylines during tomorrow's episode. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening.